Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays Collection. I'm your host Mike. Today I want to do another episode in my continuing series on documentaries, movie documentaries. Movies are documentaries about movie makers, directors, photographers, actors, and in this episode I got three documentaries involving directors and actors, and I really recommend these. So let's start right off with, this is a really interesting DVD. This is a DVD edition of a documentary that was released by the Cohen Film Company. This is a documentary about the director Orson Welles. This is called Magician: The Astonishing Life and Work of Orson Welles. This is really good. There's been a few, probably a handful of documentaries about Orson Welles, and when this one came out, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, it's just going to be, same old, but it was a really refreshing look at the, complicated man that was Orson Welles. I mean, he was basically a boy genius. I mean, he's a painter, a writer, a director, a writer, a radio personality. I mean, he started out on radio with the Mercury Theater. Of course, he would make Citizen Kane in 1941, being one of the youngest filmmakers to make a classic movie like that. And he would go on to make a lot of classic movies. He would also star in a lot of movies. He would just do acting work basically to fund the movies he wanted to direct and make and get off the ground and everything. And as time went by, he was but towards the end of his life, he was more better known to most people as the man in the wine commercials. I mean, he would do commercials for wine, and people knew him from TV commercials and stuff. And he would do a lot of voice work, and he would do a lot of he would be in documentaries and stuff. I think one of his last roles was the voice on one of the voices in the Transformers the movie, which was an animated movie from 1986, and I actually got to see that, and it's really cool that even though when I was 10 years old when that came out, I was hearing the voice of Orson Welles, which was really cool. But yeah, this is a great documentary. It's not a documentary that covers every little thing he did, but it really did show some stuff that I had never seen before. It talks about his boyhood, some of his life with his parents and growing up and stuff. So it's really good. By the way, this is an ex-library copy. That's why it has some writing on it. But there you go. I recommend that, guys, especially if you're a fan of Orson Welles or just want to know who Orson Welles is. It's a great place to start. There's a few documentaries on him that I would recommend, but let's start with Magician. This is a great place to start to know Orson Welles. So there you go. Next up, this is a really nice package that this documentary is in. This is about the actor John Cassell. It's called I Knew It Was You, Rediscovering John Cassell. This is a beautiful release. It's cardboard release. It's got a slipcase. Really love the artwork on it. John Cassell was an actor who actually died, very young. He died, I believe, when he was 42. Let me check here. Yeah, he was only 42 when he died. And he had, he had just finished filming The Deer Hunter, and he died way too soon. It goes into his sickness, as you know, his acting triumphs and everything. He was in The Godfather, The Godfather Part 2, The Conversation. He was in Dog Day Afternoon and The Deer Hunter. I mean, not too shabby. I mean, the man died young, but man, he was in probably 5 of the very best movies from the 1970s, easily. And it really goes into the man. He was also a really good stage actor. He was in Broadway. I think he started in Broadway, but it really goes into his life. And it's really nice. It's really cool that they did a documentary on him, because I mean, it is such a loss to the acting community that, you know, he died so young, and everything. Because I mean, once you see him in The Deer Hunter and The Godfather, and especially Dog Day Afternoon, I mean, it's just like, wow, a powerful actor, capable of, you know, many different, you know, roles and stuff. So there you go. I Knew It Was You, which is you know, it's a throwback to The Godfather. I Knew It Was You, rediscovering John Cassell. So check that out, guys. I believe that was on Netflix originally when I first saw that. And finally, guys, this is a movie that was made. This is I say movie, it's a documentary made by Wim what can I say his name? Wim Wenders. Wim Wenders, the German director. This is a movie about Nicholas Ray. It's called Lightning Over Water. And this is a documentary that for the longest time I was seeing little parts of it, like in other documentaries and other like little, you know, 20-minute stories about Nicholas Ray, like in the supplements of one of his movies or something, and you see a little bits of it in interviews and stuff. But you know, it's from this documentary, and this shows Nicholas Ray towards the end of his life. He was real good friends with Wim Wenders, and he started filming his friend in New York. And he would come over to the house and he would film him and talk to him and interview him. And this went on for a while. And I would show him, trying to get a movie. He started working with. He became a teacher towards the end of his life, and he was a lecturer, a teacher at a college. Started working with small groups, filmmaking, acting, and stuff, and working with them. But, you know, what can I say about Nicholas Ray? I mean, one of the best directors out there. I mean, even on here, there is a small documentary on here called Nicholas Ray, especially for Pierre. It's a 38-minute lecture by Nicholas Ray. But yeah, you know, what can I say about Nicholas Ray? He's one of my favorite directors. I mean, the 1950s, late 40s, he just broke out and made some of the best film noirs and movies like Rebel Without a Cause. He's made so many good movies. Film noir, 1948's They Live by Night, Johnny Guitar, one of my favorite westerns, and a bunch of other movies. I mean, he made a lot of good movies. He worked with Humphrey Bogart in A Lonely Place, and he's definitely a director that's getting more. He's getting more well known nowadays because he has influenced a generation. You know, they're going back. Film lovers are going back and discovering him and stuff. And he had quite a career. He worked with Alan Lomax, the celebrated he would record all the old blues players in Mississippi, and went back and archived all that music and stuff. And he helped with him in the 1930s. He started out actually as an architect working with Frank Lloyd Wright, He started out, he came from a good background, and he started out to be an architect, and then he got sidetracked a couple of times, but quite a career. I mean, to just working with Alan Lomax in the 30s was something. Just the fact that he worked with Frank Lloyd Wright was something, not to mention his movie career. So a very fascinating individual, to say the least. I mean, really good documentary. There's some interviews on here with his wife. As a side note, on the new edition of the Eureka edition of Johnny Guitar has got a really good interview with his wife on that too, to further tie it, some of his story together. But yeah, there you go. Lightning Over Water. This is a older DVD from Anchor Bay. I think this came out in the early 2000s, 2002, and I think the documentary is from like the early 80s. He passed away, when did he? I think he passed away in the 80s, I believe. Late 70s, 80s, somewhere in there. He passed away, but really good documentary. Highly recommend it, guys. Lightning Over Water. So there you go. There's only 3 documentaries, but those are some pretty strong character stories. I mean, even though Lightning Over Water is about a director, I mean, he is a character. I mean, Nicholas Ray is a character, so it's just like learning about this multifaceted man. The same with Orson Welles. I mean, another fascinating individual with multiple degrees of talent. I mean, he just radio, film, art. I mean, and John Cassell was very celebrated actor. With many things to him too. So hope you enjoyed this episode. These are some great documentaries. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. And like I said, comment. Let me know what you thought about these picks. And that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Be safe out there, and discover a documentary tonight. Until next time, guys, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. See you later.